Hello boys and girls, my name is Cole, and in today's video we are going to be looking at how I built the Garage 56 NASCAR Camaro in LEGO. Now if you would like to build this model yourself, I've made digital instructions for it, which can be bought and downloaded from my website, which is linked below, or Rebrickable, which is also linked below. And you can purchase the instructions and you can see how to build the model, and at the end of the instructions there's a nice parts list should you want to collect the parts from your collection. Should you want to buy the parts off of Bricklink or another online LEGO seller, it also comes with a XML file to which you can upload and buy all the parts. And I have instructions for almost all of my other models on the website as well, so I encourage you to check it out. I also encourage you to check out the Patreon, which gives you early access to videos like this and instructions for models like this, as well as some exclusive instructions for models that will only be on the Patreon. So I encourage you to check that out as well. You will get your name shouted out right after this as well. So let's talk about what the Garage 56 Camaro is. So you'll probably have learned that at least it's a NASCAR Camaro. Now I'm not like I don't have a great racing knowledge. I don't have a very good NASCAR knowledge at all. But I do know that this car raced at Le Mans last year. Basically, it's I can't remember what they call the new generation of NASCAR. It's one of those taken by a race team, Garage 56. I haven't really researched this that much. I just built the car because I thought it was cool. Basically, it's a NASCAR Camaro that has been turned into a endurance style race car. So a lot of it is different. I don't even know what's different. I haven't looked at I haven't looked at the real thing that closely. But it's an extremely cool car, extremely cool concept. And it raced at Le Mans last year. I can't remember where it finished. I don't think it finished in a crazy place, but I think it did finish, so that's good. It may have not finished, in which case that's not good. So yes, either way, it was at Le Mans and it looked really big and silly and extremely cool and it sounded really nice last year. I was not at Le Mans, I just saw it on video. But what we are going to do today is show you guys how I built my own version of it in LEGO. And so here we are a year later. Le Mans was like 1 or 2 weeks ago, so I got close. I could have released it a year later, which would have been really cool, but I didn't think about it until it was too late. So here we are a couple weeks after Le Mans. We have the finished model, so let's go through the design. So let's go into Studio here. This model had a couple iterations. So going to Studio, the free digital building software. Did I take any pictures of it? I hope I took some pictures of it. Let's go into the Discord, the LEGO car building Discord, so I can see the history. I highly recommend that you join the LEGO car building Discord if you like LEGO cars and just generally really low quality humor. But let's see. Alright, so I found a couple of screenshots of the process of building this model in Studio. Again, free digital building software. If you like building cars like this and you have an okay computer, if you have a decent computer, I highly recommend that you build it, or not that you download it and build something with it. But we started out with this, which looks vaguely like a Nissan Silvia S13. Doesn't look anything at all very much like a Camaro. This eventually I got to this point where we had some livery in the sides. The front still kind of looks like an S13 Silvia, but this is basically the final like side skirt design, little details down here, and then this is somewhat like the livery would be eventually. Then we moved on to this, which is where I had the start of the final front design. So I basically redid the entire thing. You can see there's interesting like sideways plate gap between the front and the fender to get everything to line up nicely. This was eventually taken away because it just looked too long. And the side is almost how it is now, except I had these curved tiles to kind of represent the numbers, but I figured this would just look weird because they would stick out, and there's no way to get them like, well, there probably is a way to get them perfectly flush, but it would be kind of a pain to do that, so I'm just like, I got rid of those eventually. We also had this stack of jumper plates for the grille, which is a nice texture, but in the final design to connect everything I couldn't use jumper plates there, so I used a little like fence piece, which I'll show you guys in a bit in detail. Eventually we got to this point, which is very much like the finished product, except the front is still a bit longer than it would be. Obviously the front is also not entirely how it is now. There's no detail on the hood, and there's no detail on the roof, because a big part of this car I realized is just how interesting the roof is compared to a normal car, or normal race car, or normal Camaro. Okay, so most race cars have like a little antenna, stuff like that to communicate with the, like your radio. Get that to work, I guess. I'm not sure I'm using a telephone for radio, but anyway. LEGO did this quite nicely, or at least I thought it was cool, on the BMW race car set with the M4 having these antennas on it. I thought it looked pretty sick, so I wanted to do that here. So I did do that eventually, but here I had not done it. Also, the Camaro has this weird like aerodynamic rails on top, which is they look pretty cool. They're very unique, and so I was like, oh, it'd be cool to represent those, but that's probably really hard to integrate. But then I thought, okay, now I have to integrate that. And you can see here, the livery is again more similar to the current one, but not exact. And then I got to this point, which, as you can see, I have antennas on the roof, but none of the rails. And the front is almost where like the finished point, but again, not quite. Then at this point, this is when we got basically everything came together. You can see we got the rails on the roof using an interesting technique, which I will show you guys in a minute. And the front has been moved in, and also the headlights are changed, because originally I wanted to use these new 1x1, 1x2 wedge plates, wedge tiles, which are a really cool piece, but they don't exist in dark bluish gray or any other color similar to a headlight color like white or light bluish gray. So I swapped them out for the just 2x2 triangular tiles, which work fine. I don't like them as much, but they make this balance much better, because there would be a large gap around the front, like around the headlights, if we somehow managed to get the first part in there. At this point, the design was done, except for the interior, which I'll just show you guys. So let's go over all the techniques, interesting things used in the final model. So the front it's got some interesting things going on. It's not too crazy. It's mostly basic stacking. This car has a lot of canards, like aerodynamic, like swoopy looking things on the front and the back, and so all over the car, those are represented with little horn pieces clipped onto the side, which I think adds a lot of it makes it look a bit more interesting. Again, all those jumper plates in the front were replaced with a fence piece, which looks quite nice. It's not perfect, but it works. Above that, the small angled down area is on 1x1 round plates on a hinge, on a bar, I guess. I'm not sure what those are called. The hood is much simpler than the real thing. It's just this gray, and there's like an American flag here. The real one has like gold and gray and a like kind of blacked out American flag, which looks incredibly sick. I just thought this looked good on the model. There's a little bit of gold up here on the front, because there should be a gold stripe going down the side of the whole thing that flips like up onto the top, but that's kind of hard to do in Lego without making a lot of the car gold to the point that it looks wrong, so I just put a little tiny bit of gold up here. Pearl gold, not a color that I use often on these models, so kind of cool to have a little bit of it here. Moving back to the side, it's really simple. It's basically just plate stacking, and then different colors to get the livery. It looks quite Minecraft-like, I suppose you might say. And there's just some medium azure, some dark azure, and then the normal blue. Second blue car I built, and second race car in blue I built recently, so kind of cool. And it goes next to the if you put it next to the F40 LM. We have that side skirt, which is basically just brackets, exhaust, and one of these cool new wedge tiles for a little like aerodynamic bit. The Chevrolet logo on the side I think actually looks really nice. It's quite blocky, but it is relatively blocky on the real car. It also is like lopsided, but it is on the real car as well. There could be more detail like in front of it there, but I think at some point with this like brick built livery, you kind of have to stop, because otherwise it just looks really chaotic, and so I feel like this was a good balance. I removed those curved tiles that I was using for the numbers and just put, well, nothing there. I put this, and I think it looks fine. It's not perfect, but again, if you put too much, it's just going to look weird. I didn't want to do any textured pieces, because again, I feel like that's not going to look right, because the NASCAR in real life is just super flat on the sides, and I wanted to kind of keep that in the Lego model. And then move on to the back, which I didn't show in any of the screenshots earlier, but it's really simple. There's a big diffuser. There is taillights, which are literally just 1x1 round plates. Super simple, and maybe not the prettiest thing ever, but I feel like they're the most accurate and they look fine. We have more canards back here on the side, which I think look really sick. And a big transparent, almost vertical wing. The real one has something like this, maybe a little bit different colors in there, but I just thought this looked really nice. And this car has a bunch of kind of weird colors that all work together, and so I was able to get that together on the Lego model, and so I think it's cool. The rear is very simple. It is not more simple than the new NASCAR set, which I'm happy to say, because that set is extremely simple in the rear, and this one is a little bit different, because I think that is also technically the same like generation NASCAR that this is. So we can compare those, I suppose, at some point, but I'm pretty happy with this one for now. Then go to the interior, which is, I'm quite happy with it. There's a seat, does not fit minifigures. If you're familiar with my channel, then it's not new. I have kind of stopped caring about fitting minifigures, and so it doesn't fit minifigures. It does have a really nice detailed seat, which I haven't stealed this design from the new M4 in the Lego set, but I did steal some of the other interior details, like the roll cage and the steering wheel and stuff. I think it's a really nice interior. It was pointed out to me later that I probably should make the interior some other colors, because all black interior just kind of gets lost. You can't see any of the detail. So I probably could have thrown some dark bluish gray and things, so I'll be doing that on the next model I build. But yeah, a little bit of roll cage, a little bit of stuff like that. And then rear window is extremely simple, just uses these curved slopes, some cheese slopes behind those, which are on a bracket to get the right height so it all looks nice and coherent. Rear window is extremely, perhaps too simple, just using panels on hinge bricks. Again, nothing crazy at all there. And then we get to the roof, which maybe is my favorite part of the whole car, just because it's using these 2x2 plates with it's like a horizontal 1x2 plate on top. A weird part, never been able to use it before, but here it worked perfectly to get some plates with rails facing up in there, and then also the antennas in there. So we have like a larger antenna, it's an actual Lego lever piece, and a small one, it's like a Lego bar piece. There's some panels in there to like keep some headroom. Actually, I was surprised that this did not interfere with the seat below it, which is very nice. I think it looks really nice, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. Now, if we compare this to some of the other models, I'd say it looks fine. I think the Camaro should be a slightly bigger car, especially if you compare it to the Dark Horse Mustang set, it looks a bit small. And if you compare it to the BMW hybrid from the set, it looks much smaller, which is definitely not right. I think this is more because the Lego set is oversized and because this is undersized, but this probably could be a little bit just bigger, like vertically, maybe to get it to look right. But that's scale-wise. I think it looks fine right now, and I'm not going to change anything on it. And I don't know, it just adds another one to the collection of kind of wacky race cars that I have, which is, it's one of my favorite like little types of car, and so I'm really happy to keep building this out. That's basically it for this video, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to build this yourself, instructions are available that I have made myself. Go get them at the links in the description, mcgwerks.com. Support the Patreon if you feel like supporting it. If you don't support it, but I appreciate you watching. But that is it for today's video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Jesus loves you, and I hope I'll see you in the next video.